Could I have you introduce yourself briefly?
Sure, my name is Emily Dean. I'm a candidate for the Helena City Commission. I'm a proud resident of Helena where I live and work. I spend my days advocating for kids and public education, and I'm looking forward to the rest of this campaign and hopefully being elected this November.
Okay, very good. What is it that you do for a living?
Sure, I am a public education advocate and a communications professional. Prior to that, I was a public school teacher. One of the reasons that I left the classroom was because I knew that a lot of the things that affected kids negatively happened outside of the classroom, and that's why I went into advocacy work. This run for the Helena City Commission is just another extension of that. I know that we can be doing more in the community as a whole to address the issues that our families face, and part of that is in the Helena City Commission.
Okay. How long have you lived in Helena?
So I have lived in Helena on and off more or less my whole life. My grandparents retired to Helena after my grandpa retired from the military. My mom and my uncles and my aunt are all graduates of Capital and what used to be Sun Haven, now Helena High. And I moved back and forth from Helena to Butte and was fortunate enough to get scholarship to go to Carroll College, where I graduated from. Go Saints. And after that, I went to graduate school and was lucky enough to be able to find a job to come home and continue to serve our community.
And is this your first time running for elective office?
This is my first time running for elected office.
So why did you decide to run for City Commission?
There are a few reasons. One, I believe Helena is coming to a crossroads, and I believe right now is the time that we need to make some very strategic decisions. As an advocate and an educator and a community member, I understand a lot of the things that keep our families up at night, and I'd like to be part of finding solutions for those. I think that we need to start focusing on improving transparency in our city government. I think that we need to improve reaching out to our community members and really getting their input on the decisions that the city is making. And I also believe that we need to improve some of our responsiveness in our city services and making sure that our city employees have what they need to be most effective in providing those services to the public.
What do you see as your chief qualifications for this position?
Sure. As an advocate, I understand that you have to gather the input of all stakeholders. As a communications professional, I also understand what it means to reach out to the public for that. I don't believe that our city commission can simply expect the public to read the agenda that's posted every other week and know what all of it is supposed to mean and know when the public needs to be at city commission meetings providing input. So I believe that means that our city commission needs to do more to reach out to those individuals that are affected by our decisions that are coming up.
What do you see as the number one issue facing the city of Helena right now?
I think there are a few. One, Helena continues to have pretty consistent growth. We also see communities surrounding us that are grappling with growth that happened very quickly. I think that means that we need to be a lot more strategic in how we're providing those services. Helena is lucky to be a place where we have about half of our population with a bachelor's degree or higher. But with that also means that there is a part of our population that is frequently getting left out, and I would like to be a voice for all of Helena. I believe in a Helena for the many, and I think that we need to be sure that we are advocating for those who may not always have a seat at the table.
Are there any issues that you feel that the city government hasn't paid enough attention to in recent years?
One thing that I would like to see the city do is be a lot more transparent and proactive in how we're reaching out to the public. I think that a lot of our issues could be avoided if we did that groundwork and the legwork first in gathering the stakeholder input. I've put together a number of proposals that you can find on my website at deanforhelena.com. Another thing that I think that we could be doing is using the resources that we have more effectively. For example, I believe that we could be doing more to reducing waste in our community. I think that we need to enhance a culture of less wastefulness, so that means things like implementing a city composting program. I think that means offering flex hours at our local transfer station. So that means maybe we flex the hours so that we have longer hours for people who are working 9 to 5 to bring their recycling and their waste to the transfer station in the times that are convenient for them. I also think that our city website needs I believe our city website needs a redo. I think that we need to make information more accessible to people, and I also believe that we can do that by making it a priority on the Helena City Commission.
What do you think the city government is doing well right now, and what do you think they need to improve on?
So I do believe that change is hard, and not all change is bad. But I do believe that when you are making pretty substantial changes within a system, within an organization, you need to be sure that you are getting the buy-in and the input from those that are being most affected. That means community members. That also means the city employees that have to carry out the orders of the city commission. We know that city employees are the ones on the ground. We know that they have the expertise, and I think that it would be wise for the city commission to make sure to get that buy-in, but then also pair that with the buy-in of the community. So that means when we are making big changes, we need to reach out to those that will be effective and gather the input to implement those changes.
What do you think the role of the city government and the city commission ought to be?
That's a good question. I think the city could be doing more to facilitate economic growth. I think that we can do that by being a facilitator of resources. That means the city, and that doesn't necessarily have to be monetary resources. I think the city could be doing more to facilitate our vast nonprofit community interacting with the needs of our business community and our educational institutions. I would really like to see the city work harder to improve job opportunity for our citizens. We have many jobs that are going unfilled, and yet we have people who are still looking for jobs. Let's make sure that our community is giving those in need of good paying jobs the skills that are required through our educational institutions, through the great work that our nonprofits are doing, and connecting those with our business community.
Have you been supported by, or are you supporting any of the other candidates running for City Commission this year?
I'm running for City Commission on my own. I'm running my own race. I believe that there are a number of things that we need to be focusing on, and I am running my own race to be successful and not as a group, not as a slate. I think I have skills to offer to the City Commission, and I hope that the voters will judge me on those merits.
All right, what message would you like to leave the voters with?
Sure. As an advocate and an educator and a community member, I understand a lot of the issues that keep our families up at night, and I believe that I have solutions to offer to meet some of those issues. I also believe that Helena is coming to a crossroads, and it is time that we make some strategic decisions for a stronger and more prosperous Helena. I hope that my experience and the plans that I'll bring to the City Commission will garner the votes needed, and I hope that I can count on Helena's support. I believe in a Helena for the many, and I think that it's time that we have representation that is proactively reaching out to our community and reflecting that in discussions on the Helena City Commission.
All right, very good. Thank you very much.